Hello, this is Mausam, and today I have chosen a very simple yet a powerful subject. This video could be useful to anyone who's in the customer service from any industry, so keep watching till the end and do comment on this video. Now, this is one of the most important skills honed by anyone who's in the business of managing people, whether as a human resource manager or a sales manager, or even as a leader of an organization. Successful people who have nurtured the listening skill have been loved by their colleagues and customers, and they have excelled in their careers. Listening skill helps in building empathy, and once you are in that zone, you can exhibit care for your colleagues, your customers, your family, your business, and the list goes on. Let's see how. So, what is listening? Let me share something from a reflection of the past. I was meeting a few gentlemen in their office to pitch for a geology conference. There must have been visits from my competitors too. When I arrived from my scheduled meeting at 12 noon, I found that there was a scientist waiting in the meeting room who was invited to give the technical inputs for the conference. The other two gentlemen from procurement and administration who had to be present there had an urgent errand to attend. Thus, they would be joining soon. So I was in this room with the scientist, and it was quite obvious we needed to have a conversation while waiting for the others to arrive. And I knew nothing about the gentleman. I started with a very curious question asking him, how did he choose to become a scientist in the field of geology? He responded to this nicely in as many sentences, and soon I followed up with a question on which places had he traveled because of work. When he finished, I asked him which is the place he liked the most and why. When I spoke the third sentence in that room post our exchange of initial pleasantries, the scientist had already spoken for nearly 15 minutes. It sounded like he was talking to an old friend. After about 30 minutes of me being there, when the arrival of the other two gentlemen interrupted our conversation, I already knew about the scientist's education, his parents, his siblings, his family, and broadly about his passions too. I also knew about his contribution to the scientific society. All I did was I looked into his eyes, shook my head in acknowledgement from time to time, added some words like right, true, really, so nice, and I had a complete dossier of the person. Now the other two gentlemen wanted to dig into the reason for the meeting directly. The scientist interrupted and requested me to join them for lunch in the canteen, and also requested the other two gentlemen to take the time over lunch to brief me on the conference. By the time lunch got over, I had a page scribbled with all the requirements for the conference, not written by me, but by them. And the scientist did most of the talking and asked all the relevant questions to the two gentlemen about budgets, qualifying process, how things would be arranged, all on my behalf. I was just enjoying Kadi Chawal and nodding my head. The scientist told his other colleagues in as many words pointing towards me, this man really understands our business, our requirements, and thus there can be no better hotel where we can conduct our conference. But wait, when did I even exhibit that knowledge? I did not answer any questions to confirm my understanding. I never even mentioned a thing about the rooms and the conference hall of my hotel. In the entire 2 hours I was there, I just exchanged pleasantries, asked a few questions, murmured some word in acknowledgement, and nodded my head. I had a heavy lunch since the food was delicious, and I went to the buffet to refill my plate too. All I did was I just patiently listened to the scientist, and he found the friend in me who he could depend on. I never interrupted him while he was speaking. Neither did I try to add my point of view into something, nor did I tell him how great a hotel company we were from and take charge of the conversation. I just let him speak and I listened. Now let's try to define listening. It's hearing plus understanding plus acknowledging. How do you listen? You can start a conversation by asking open-ended questions starting with how, what, why, where, and when. Ask questions that people love answering about their achievements, their struggles to get to where they are, food, travel, family, children. As long as it is about them, they will talk. When the other person is speaking, you maintain eye contact. Bring expressions that go in line with what he or she is saying so that they realize that you're paying complete attention and enjoying. Use words of acknowledgement and sometimes even make notes depending on the subject of the conversation. Why are good sellers good listeners too? Good salespeople are good listeners since they use the time to understand the customer's perspective first before making the pitch of their product. They're patient with first knowing what the customer is interested in and then trying to solve the problem of the customer through their offering. Thus, they make personal connections with the customer faster and gain lasting confidence. How to develop listening skill. It is best to start at home. You could start with your parents, your children, and your friends. Try and understand their perspective in anything they are saying before you make a judgment or give solutions. Simple things that lead to major disagreements can be sorted so easily if you develop the interest to understand the other person's perspective. Most times, when we are doing something at home and our parents or children come up with a problem or a question, it is best to stop what you're doing and listen to them with full attention. It is not necessary that you have the answers to all the questions or solutions to all problems. Just by being interested in listening to them, you will see that they start confiding in you. They would love you more for this small gesture that there is someone who they can always talk to or someone who listens to them patiently. How can it be developed into a philosophy in the hospitality business? I recently finished reading a book written by Dale Carnegie. The first edition of this book was published in 1936 and is titled How to Win Friends and Influence People. My first reaction after reading the book was, all of the situations are so similar to what I have encountered most of my career life with customers, colleagues, bosses, and I continue to handle them today, every day. I can relate to a chapter in the book titled The Safety Valve in Managing Complaints, where he mentions a golden rule. Let the other person do more of the talking. This fundamental has always helped me calm down complaining customers and bail out of seemingly big issues for them. He has also mentioned things like let the other person have ownership of the idea. Try to see things from the other's point of view. These are golden rules in managing peer relationships in office and nurturing a positive team. Well, listening is a great quality and a skill that can help bail you out of a lot of complex situations. You may be tempted to present your point of view, defend, or even sometimes argue. If you can control the urge, you will start seeing amazing results coming out of a conversation. In this video, I have shared the path of its importance and how to bring it to life. Thank you for listening and hope you will nurture this skill and put it to use.